cold winter wind swept through the small village as the first light of dawn touched the horizon. The streets were empty, silent. Yet, there was one sound, the gentle shuffle of paws against the snow. It was Max, a stray dog, with fur so thick it looked like a blanket of hope in the biting chill. Max had no home, no family, but he had something stronger than either: loyalty. Every morning, Max would make his way to the bakery at the edge of the village, not to beg for food, but to keep an eye on a little boy, Sam. Sam's parents owned the bakery. At sunrise, he would sit outside, watching the steam rise from the chimney, and wait for his parents to finish baking. It was the only time Sam had a moment to himself, and Max made sure he wasn't alone. Sam had befriended Max months ago with nothing more than a crust of bread and a warm smile. But from that day, Max had become Sam's silent guardian. He'd follow him to school, waiting patiently outside until classes ended. He'd walk beside him when Sam went to the market, always watching, always ready to protect. One day, the routine changed. Sam's father told him they had to leave the village. Business was failing. They'd move to the city, where opportunities were better. For Sam, the thought of leaving was heartbreaking. For Max, it was confusing. He didn't understand why the little boy who always shared his time was now so sad. On the day they were to leave, Sam's parents packed their belongings onto a small cart. Sam hugged Max tightly and whispered, "I'll miss you, boy." Max didn't understand the words, but he felt the weight of the moment. When the cart began to move, Max followed, tail wagging, as if it were just another walk to the market. But this time, the walk didn't stop. They crossed the village, then the forest path. The city was far, too far for Max's weary legs. Yet he followed, limping as his paws bled against the rocky path. Sam noticed. He begged his parents to let Max come with them. "We can't," his father said gently. "We can barely afford food for ourselves." By sunset, Sam's family had reached a busy road leading into the city. Max stopped at the edge of the forest, his eyes fixed on Sam. He watched as the cart moved further away, and for the first time, he didn't follow. He sat there, his silhouette framed against the setting sun. Sam turned around one last time, tears streaming down his face. "Stay safe, Max," he whispered to the wind. Weeks passed in the city. Sam tried to adjust to his new life, but he couldn't stop thinking about Max. Every bark he heard in the streets made him turn his head. Every stray dog he saw made his heart ache. He worried about Max. Was he safe? Was he warm? Was he still waiting? Back in the village, Max waited. Days turned into nights, nights into weeks. The bakery was closed, the streets empty. Yet, every morning, Max would sit by the chimney, waiting for Sam to return. Hunger gnawed at his belly, but he didn't leave. Snow fell, the wind howled, and Max endured it all, driven by an unshakable loyalty. One day, a traveler passed through the village and noticed Max, thin and shivering. The traveler shared his meal and stroked Max's head. "Poor thing," he said. "You're waiting for someone, aren't you?" The traveler left, but the kindness stayed with Max, fueling his determination. Months later, on a warm spring afternoon, a cart rolled into the village. It was Sam's family. The city life hadn't worked out. They decided to return to the place they called home. As the cart approached the bakery, Sam's heart raced. He jumped off before it stopped and ran to the chimney, and there he was. Max, thinner than before, his fur patchy, his eyes tired, but alive. The moment he saw Sam, his tail wagged furiously. He barked, a sound so full of joy it echoed through the village. Sam fell to his knees and wrapped his arms around Max, crying into his fur. "You waited," he whispered. "You really waited." Max licked his face as if to say, "Of course I did." From that day on, Max became more than a stray. He became family. The bakery reopened, and Max had a warm corner to sleep in, and all the bread crusts he could ever want. But more importantly, he had Sam, and Sam had him. Loyalty is not just about being there in the good times. It's about staying, even when it's hard. It's about waiting, even when hope seems lost. Max's tale reminds us that true loyalty doesn't need words. It speaks through actions, through patience, through love that never fades.